Imagine you're standing on a quiet sun-baked pier along the Mekong River in western Thailand. The air is thick with humidity and the muddy water gently laps against the concrete. You are there with someone you consider a close and trusted friend. Together, you are performing a Buddhist merit marking ritual, which is releasing a bucket of small fish into the river to bring back good luck and wash away your bad karma. It is a peaceful and deeply spiritual moment for you both. But as you watch the fish swim away, your chest suddenly tightens. You try to draw a breath, but your lungs refuse to cooperate with you. Now the world around you begins to spin around and your legs buckle. You collapse onto the hard concrete, clutching your chest as violent seizures take over your body. Now at this very moment, imagine what your friend does next to you. They do not scream, they do not cry out for help, they do not drop to their knees to perform CPR or even scramble to dial the emergency services. Instead, they stand there perfectly still, looking down at you with a blank and emotionless stare. Then, with a chilling composure, they reach down, pick up your designer handbag, step right over your convulsing body, and walk back to their car and drive away simply. They leave you choked to death on the dirty concrete pier, entirely alone. Now, this is not a hypothetical horror scene. It is the exact sequence of events which unfolded on April 14, 2013. The young woman dying on the pier was 32-year-old Siriporn Khanwong, who was also known to her friends and family as Koi, and the friend who left her there to die was a woman named Sararat, also known to her friends as Now at first, local authorities believed that Koi's death was simply a tragic medical emergency because in the tropical heat of Thailand, sudden cardiac arrest was not uncommon, and the initial report chalked it up to a heart failure. But Koi's family knew something was deeply wrong in this case. Koi was young, incredibly healthy, and had no history of heart issues as well. And even more suspicious was the fact that her expensive phone, her designer handbag, and over 150,000 baht in cash and some gold jewelry had completely vanished from the scene. When Koi's grieving mother had tried to contact Am to ask what exactly had happened on that day, Am claimed that she had no idea. She even insisted that she wasn't even at the pier on that very day. But Am here made one fatal mistake. She forgot to look up. Now hanging directly above the pier was a security camera. When the local police pulled up the footage, they did not see a sudden random heart attack here. They saw Am standing right beside Koi as she fell down on her knees. They watched her systematic and cold-blooded exit from the pier, carrying Koi's missing bags and items. The lies completely fell apart in an instant, and the police also ordered an immediate forensic autopsy on Koi's body. What the medical examiners found in her blood would shatter the illusion of a simple robbery or homicide and unlock a decade-long trial of absolute terror. Now, days later, the autopsy report came back with a result that would send a shiver down the spine of the investigating team. The cause of Koi's sudden collapse was not a failing heart, it was a lethal concentration of hydrogen cyanide. Cyanide is a terrifyingly efficient, fast-acting poison. When ingested, it prevents the cells in your body from using oxygen efficiently. Your heart, your lungs, and your brain are suddenly starved of air even as you breathe. Now, within minutes of taking it, a victim experiences extreme dizziness, followed by suffocating panic, violent seizures, cardiac arrest, and ultimately brain death. It is not a chemical you accidentally swallow. It is a weapon designed for swift, silent execution. And so on April 25, 2013, police moved in and arrested Am. But when her face was splashed across national television news, a bizarre and chilling phenomenon began to occur. The phones at police stations across central Thailand started ringing continuously. Grieving families from different provinces, some who had cremated their loved ones years before, were staring at their television screens in absolute shock. They recognized the woman in handcuffs. She was the same sweet, helpful friend who had been by their relative's side right before they died of sudden unexplained heart failure. The police then realized they were no longer looking at a single murder over a stolen handbag. They were looking at a highly organized, relentless Black Widow who had been operating with impunity for nearly a decade. Now, the victims here were all part of her social circle: her friends, her classmates, her business partners, and even her romantic interests. And so now, as detectives began to reopen the cold cases and dig into Am's past, they also had to answer a crucial question: how does someone poison over a dozen people in plain sight without even a single person noticing? Now, the secret to Am's invisibility lay in her social standing. In many parts of the world, serial killers operate on the fringes of society, targeting the vulnerable or even the isolated. But Am here did the exact opposite. She targeted the middle class, the wealthy, and even police officers sometimes. And she was able to do this because she had the ultimate shield, which was her marriage. Now, Am at that time was married to a high-ranking police officer, a lieutenant colonel who served as a deputy superintendent in Ratchaburi province. In provincial Thai society, the wife of a senior police officer holds an immense amount of respect, authority, and even social trust. People naturally let their guards down around her. She was a regular respected figure in her community, known for her friendly demeanor and her willingness to help others organize their finances or join local business ventures. Now, this exact police connection did more than just build trust, it actively suppressed suspicions for her. If someone fell ill or died shortly after meeting with the deputy superintendent's wife, local precinct officers were highly hesitant to aggressively question or even investigate her, because no one wanted to risk their career by accusing a superior spouse of murder based on just a hunch. Now, for years, this dynamic created a perfect blind spot. If a victim collapsed, Am would be put on a masterclass of manipulation. She would arrive at the hospital in tears. She would also attend funerals, crying alongside the relatives, playing the part of the heartbroken best friend. Now, by showing such intense public grief, she deflected any possible suspicion on her. Furthermore, she also knew exactly how the local system worked, because in Thailand, when a person dies of a seemingly natural causes like a heart attack, for example, and the family does not explicitly suspect foul play, a full autopsy is rarely performed, and the body is quickly released to the family, brought to a local temple, and cremated according to Buddhist traditions. For Am, she knew this timeline very well. She knew that once the body was cremated, the physical evidence of cyanide was turned to trash, permanently erasing her crimes. She had mastered the art of using her status to create a crime scene that literally went up in smoke. Now, underneath her respectable exterior, Am was harboring a dark, consuming secret. She was also a severe pathological online gambler. Her addictions had spiraled completely out of control, leaving her with millions of baht in mounting debts. She was constantly being hounded by credit card companies, local loan sharks, and even banks. She was desperate for cash, and she needed a way out to feed her habit while keeping her lifestyle afloat. Amidst all of this, she realized she could turn to her trusted social circle into her personal ATM. From there on, Am engineered a devastatingly simple scheme based on informal investment clubs known as share circles. Now, these are very popular in Thailand, where a group of friends pool in their money together to gain high interest returns. Am would slowly pitch these high-yield investment circles to her wealthy friends, or simply ask to borrow massive sums of cash directly from them, promising incredibly high interest rates. Her victims, trusting the wife of a police lieutenant colonel, gladly handed over their hard-earned money, sometimes their entire life saving. But here, once Am had the money, a critical problem had arose. Eventually, the investment circle would mature, or the lenders would start asking for their money back. Am did not have the cash to pay them, so instead of returning the funds, she decided to wipe out the debt by eliminating the creditor. Now, this method was terrifyingly consistent, as she would invite the person out for casual lunch, a road trip, or even a religious event. Along the way, she would gently offer them a drink, a snack, or what she claimed was a herbal medicine, capsules that she took for herself for weight loss or skincare. But in reality, the food or the capsules were laced with the cyanide she had purchased online. Now, within minutes after consuming, the poison would take into effect. As the victims lay down, Am would steal whatever cash, jewelry, and gold they had on them, walk away, and consider the debt permanently paid. Now, for 8 long years, this horrifying cycle repeated itself. But on September 2022, Am's perfect system had hit an unexpected obstacle because she met her match in a woman named Kantima Pesard. Now, Kantima was a close friend who had loaned Am a substantial amount of money. Just like all the others, Am decided that it was time to close the account. She invited Kantima out for lunch and a long drive. Now, during this trip, Am handed her a small capsule, claiming that it was a beauty supplement that would make her skin look radiant. Now, trusting her friend, Kantima swallowed the pill. Within minutes, Kantima's body began to rebel. Her chest constricted, making it nearly impossible for her to breathe. Her vision also started to fade. Now, realizing that she was suffering from a severe medical emergency, a panicked Kantima begged Am to drive her to the nearest hospital. But Am, like always, didn't speed up. Instead, she drove remarkably slow, making calm excuses about traffic, waiting for the poison to finish its work and for Kantima to lose her consciousness. But Kantima's body fought back. Involuntary physical reaction, she threw up, and that single act of vomiting saved her life, purging the vast majority of the lethal chemical from her system before it could even hit her bloodstream. Now, later when they arrived at the clinic, doctors were able to resuscitate her. When Kantima later asked Anne about the pill, Am casually brushed it off as a panic attack or even an allergic reaction. Kantima survived, but she was deeply terrified after that incident. She suspected that her friend had tried to kill her, but she also knew who Am's husband was. Fearing the immense power of provincial police, Kantima chose to stay quiet, carrying her terrifying secret in silence for months. And that silence completely broke on April 2013 when Kantima saw Am's face on the news following Koi's suspicious death. She immediately contacted the police. She became the vital living witness the prosecution desperately needed, the only survivor who could describe exactly how Am used trust and herbal capsules to deliver her deadly poison. Now, when Kantima's testimony and the forensic evidence from Koi's autopsy, the police launched a massive sweeping investigation across central Thailand. They raided Am's home and discovered bottles of cyanide hidden away, alongside the personal belongings, bank books, and jewelry of several of her deceased victims. The final list of victims was staggering. The investigation formally linked Am to 14 suspected murders and 1 attempted murder, spanning from 2015 to 2023. She had poisoned a pharmacy owner, a teacher, several police officers, and even her own ex-boyfriend, who was known as Day, just to clear her financial obligations. After which, she was hit with over 80 criminal charges, including premeditated, attempted murder, theft, and forgery. Even her husband, the police lieutenant colonel, was arrested and fired from the forces, alongside her defense lawyer, after they were found guilty of helping Am destroy and conceal evidence to cover up Koi's murder. Now, throughout her long and highly publicized legal battle, Am showed a chilling lack of remorse. Even while being pregnant in prison, she appeared remarkably calm and detached during hearings, sometimes even smiling and chatting with her lawyers while the families of her victims wept in the courtroom. But thankfully, the legal system was relentless, because in Thailand, each murder is tried as a separate case. On November 20, 2024, the Bangkok Criminal Court handed down its historic first verdict for the murder of Koi, sentencing Am to death. The trials continued. On February 20, 2026, the court delivered its second verdict, convincing her of the 2023 cyanide poisoning of police Major Nipa Sengchan. The court handed down a life sentence commuted from death due to her useful testimony during the proceedings. Just 2 months later, on April 30, 2026, she received another life sentence for her third conviction, the premeditated murder of a police captain, Kanda Torai, who was found dead behind the wheel of a car in 2022. Now, with 11 more murder trials still pending, Am's fate was sealed. She will spend the rest of her life behind maximum security confinement or face the ultimate penalty of execution. The tragedy of the Cyanide case is not just the sheer number of lives she took or the brutal efficiency of her poison. It is the absolute weaponization of trust. Because Am did not simply stalk her victims in dark alleys, she did not break into their homes at night. She sat across from them at dinner tables, smiled in their selfies, and even hugged them when they cried. She used their generosity, their love, and their friendship to lure them into their graves. She proved to the world that sometimes the most dangerous monsters are not the ones hiding in the shadows. They are the ones we willingly call our friends.